This is a live presentation of the Titan Upload Network.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and thank you for joining us on this special edition of the Power Hour. Of course, we have Thursday night football tonight. The Tennessee Titans are taking on the Dallas Cowboys in this primetime matchup, and that's about the only positive thing you're going to hear me say about this matchup, because the injury list has come out, and good Lord, there are so many problems. I don't know where to start. And realistically, it just looks like we're just trying to get through this one and get to week 18. But, I mean, that's just from a view perspective of what you get and what you see on paper. So, realistically, we don't know how this game will come out. But we'll try and talk some about the positive aspects of it and see if there's anything we can try and take a good view at and just take a good positive aspect of what we're going to see heading forward into this matchup before 8:15. We'll definitely get you out there before this is over with. But first, we got to introduce our guest tonight. Joining us from the Titans COLOSSEUM Podcast. Let's give it a round of applause for our guest tonight, RJ. RJ, welcome to the Power Hour.
How's it going? I'm glad to be on the show, man. I'll definitely watch this show.
Definitely excited to have you on. Very big fan of your podcast. And funny enough, we've actually met and had some talking time before back in April, back on the TSS Fantasy Show, where we've definitely been guests before. So we had some pretty good interaction, and I just thought it was time to get you on this show, man. So,
man, appreciate it. You know, we had fun on that show, even though we didn't know any Oilers or anything. But like, you know, I'm new to this podcast and stuff. I mean, I watched a lot of podcasts, including yours. You know, so I've watched a lot of podcasts. I got to see how the, you know, what a good podcast looks like, what a bad one looks like, and I kind of took what I learned from everybody else, and I decided to make my own. So if you watching this, you know, check out Titans Coliseum and tell me what y'all think.
And you're definitely doing a great job, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's a work in progress for all of us. We have good days, we have bad days, and of course, technology. It's a deal breaker with some of us. Some of us have figured it out, and others of us, it's kind of an on-the-fly thing. But regardless of it, we enjoy doing it. So that's the biggest reason we're here. We enjoy talking football, Tennessee Titans football especially. But in the last 6 weeks, man, there has not been a lot of positive feedback to give about anything. So before we jump in our top news segment, I mean, realistically, what's the biggest factor here with the Tennessee Titans slide from grace?
Well, one thing could be the injuries. I mean, our injuries are at a historical level right now, and something's got to be done, man. We can't just be getting injured like this. And I feel like it may be the strength and conditioning, maybe the medical team. They're sending the players back too fast. You know, maybe they're rushing these injuries or rushing them back off injury. It could be a lot of things. And I look at it like this, like I said, it's something have to be done, man. They're gonna have to make some changes in this off season.
And strength and conditioning is definitely a subject we've brought up in countless debates in this show. And the fact that Vrabel wants a physical team, that they want to practice physical, they want to play physical, it just seems like that team of strength coaches just doesn't match what his idea of what he wants. And I mean, realistically, there's some instances where these guys have gotten hurt and it's out of their hands. But, you know, these are guys that get paid to make sure that the players are properly trained and just physically endure this schedule and this season. And for the last 2 years, the Tennessee Titans have led the way in injured players. So what's the realistic goal next year in trying to find somebody that can actually match what Vrabel's trying to put out on the field?
Yeah. And I look at it like this. I think we're going to have to become a little bit more finesse than just being this strong, powerful football team that we've been over the past 6 years. And I feel like we need a little bit more finesse, a little bit more speed, a little bit more trying to juke people more than trying to run people over, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that probably could dial down on some of the injuries on defense. I mean, I don't know how you tell your defense to not be physical. Like, it's just part of being a defense, and I think it's just going to happen. But we haven't had any problems with defense since Vrabel's been here, since the 2020 year, and that was only because we just didn't have a pass rush at all, So I haven't really had a problem with defense. Really, it's just been the offense with me. Like, they got to do something different on offense.
And a great point you bring up. I mean, the defense has been one of the solid play pieces basically throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, injuries catch up, and that's one of the situations why the defense has regressed so much. And most people don't realize that when John Robinson played college football, his natural position was defensive lineman.
Yeah.
So you see where all that strength and where all they build up throughout the draft. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that he never really could get a hold of was offense. And now it just shows. So not trying to get too far ahead, but I mean, sometimes you just want to jump ahead and look to see what you could potentially start doing to move the needle forward. So on offense, what are the Titans going to have to do draft-wise? What do you think is the position of need right now?
Well, the most important right now has to be the left tackle position. I feel like we're going to have to get better in this blocking. If we're going to be this run-first team, we're going to have to get the offensive line to do it. And then second, it has to be the wide receiving core. This wide receiving core is below average at best. And outside of Treylon Burks, I don't trust any other wide receiver in this wide receiver room. I feel like Treylon Burks is going to be our either number one or number two wide receiver moving forward, and depending on who we get. Like, I was looking at maybe a Jackson Smith-Njigba or a Quentin Johnston from TCU, or maybe even a Jalen Hyatt. We need some explosiveness from the wide receiver room. We're not getting it. Your mic went out.
See, the bug's already jumping out, so just something we have to deal with on the fly. Even the professionals here. Mm. But I agree with you. I mean, Tennessee needs some kind of electric vamp to try and basically get this offense rolling, especially on the wide receiver position. The offensive line, of course, needs to be restructured. Mm-hmm. I mean, the biggest question is, are you going to do a majority of that through the draft or through free agency? Yeah. Even though offensive tackle is going to be very scarce with a lot of tackles coming off the board with upcoming deals. So with Jeffrey Simmons aside, because I think that's a separate issue in itself, what Titans player do you think they need to re-sign the most?
You said besides Jeffrey Simmons? I'd probably say either Nate Davis or David Long. I feel like either one of those two players are very vital to this team. We definitely need Nate Davis, even though sometimes he can't stay healthy. But David Long, I mean, he's the quarterback of the defense. He's calling the plays. He's moving all over the place. He's shooting the gaps and stopping these runs. I feel like we need to really re-sign David Long and Nate Davis. That's the first two that popped in my head.
And I'm definitely a fan of Nate Davis. I think that's the one solid piece you have to sign. Mm-hmm. Ben Jones, if he can stay healthy, I think they'll be all right. But I do think they need to look forward, especially with the center position. Long's kind of tricky. I do feel his position and the way he's played has been vital to the success of the defense, but his health has just been concerning. Yeah. It almost feels like we're kind of almost in another Jaylen Brown situation where he played well, but just couldn't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. And it just seems like, man, that's always the thing, man. It's like these players just can't stay healthy. And it's like, what's going on, man? We're the only team that's doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't be the only team that's getting hurt like this. Even the Saints, we're like, and I'm talking about, we're not just the most hurt team. We're the most hurt team by a lot. It's a problem,
Yeah. And it's definitely going to be a problem that gets addressed once the offseason hits. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's a situation that gets resolved quickly and we see the results of that resolve. Mm-hmm. Get into the chat real quick because everybody's piling in. Good seeing everybody on the show. Shout out to Lou Man, one of our good viewers, always giving some good insight. Of course, he's bringing up there is a way to the 7th seed, but realistically, the Titans have a shot at the 4th seed, Lou Man. So Week 18 is just going to be a win and end situation. Good seeing Titan Fox in here. Trying to get everybody's comments before we get our top news segment going. So Titan Fox, always good seeing. And I mean, some people are already looking forward to next year, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. Mm-hmm. I could understand everybody being burning out and everything. Shout out to Ryan Harris as well from the Jump Pass podcast, one of our members of the Titan Upload Network. Got to give him a shout out as well. So we're definitely going to get some good insight tonight. Shout out to Mom joining the show. Everybody was wondering about you, Mom. Good seeing you. Love you, mean it. Also, shout out to P Shark joining the show. Shark, good seeing you, man. Says got to bring back Long based on the fact that we're probably cutting Cunningham.
Yeah,
and I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, we're definitely probably gonna cut Zach Cunningham. He's too old and he can't stay healthy, and he's worked a lot, so I think he's gone.
And before we jump into the top news, last question: Taylor Lewan, is he worth keeping for one more year on a restructured deal, or do you think that he's gone?
It depends on what he's asking, because if he's asking for a small amount of change, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. But if he's playing hardball and wants to get all this money, this, that, and the other, then nah, he gotta go. You know what I'm saying? He's probably gonna retire if he doesn't play with the Titans anyway. So I highly doubt he gets another job. Because it's 2 years in a row he can't stay healthy, so I just highly doubt it. And he got, when he was on the field, he still got beat by Chandler Jones 5 times. Like, that's ridiculous. So we'll see.
2 ACL tears in a row. It's a tough hill to climb, but once again, a lot of questions that'll get answered in the offseason. No need to think about that now. Just got to get everybody to decompress. Don't worry about Titans football right now. We'll get to that later, because believe me, there's not much to talk about positive-wise, but we'll try and get a little bit of positivity. But first, a lot of other great stories out in the NFL. So, RJ, what do you say we jump into it and hit our top news segment?
Oh, yeah, let's get it.
All right, guys. I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour, and we're jumping into the top news right now. So, to hit our biggest story of the week, and this one was shocking to me, J.J. Watt is going to call it a career at the end of the season. And basically, his next stop will be Canton. So, RJ, a reflection on J.J. Watt's career in your own words.
Man, I'm happy he gone. That man, he terrorized the Tennessee Titans so many times. Like, man, that's a great player. I'll always remember him because he sacked my quarterback like 100 times, man. But he was the reason we drafted Taylor Lewan. Like that should let you know how great of a player this dude was. You know what I'm saying? We literally drafted a player to stop him, and gonna be missed. I mean, like I said, if you're a Houston Texans fan, I know you're gonna miss him, even though he doesn't even play for your team anymore. Arizona Cardinals, I'm sure they enjoyed him when he was there. Man, that dude, man, he did a lot, especially during whenever Houston, even during I think it was like the Houston, like they had a travesty a couple years ago, and he did a lot of helping out with that. So was it a hurricane came or something?
That's right.
Yeah, he did a lot of work with that too. So he's not only a great human being, a great football player, and I'd be happy to see him in Canton.
And coming out of the 2011 draft, I mean, there's a lot of great players coming out of that draft. Cam Newton, it's just an endless list. And before you even get to the 11th pick, which he was selected in that year, and we'll just ignore the fact that Tennessee took Jake Locker, but we're not going there with that. So but the fact that he was basically underlooked, I mean, his skill set, he easily could have gone 1 or 2, but unfortunately, one of those situations, played at a position that just really wasn't a big need for a lot of teams, and kind of just flew under the radar. Had a good combine, and I think that's really what built his stock, but no one saw him coming at the level that he came, especially his rookie year. Mm-hmm. So do you feel that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, without question. Yeah, he better be. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I will 100% question the signing process, or the process between to getting people in the can. Because I mean, dude had a 20 sack season and 5 TDs. Like, what defensive end's doing that? What defensive end's doing that? And I mean, the only person that's like even close to him right now is literally his brother. Yeah. Defensive player of the year 3 times in a row. I mean, not in a row, but 3 times. He deserves it. First ballot.
And one of those players that just comes out drafted at a high level, but still, an afterthought in just the slew of players that came before him. But realistically, probably the best player in that entire draft, maybe of the decade, if you want to make that argument.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I 100% agree with that.
But as we all know, calling it a career, J.J. Watt, for his humanitarian work and especially for his work on the field, it was definitely memorable, but not if you were looking on the other side of him.
Yeah, man, like I said, I was talking to other people that's in the AFC South, and I've talked to a couple Jaguar fans, Colts fan. They were like, "Dude, like I'm so glad he gone. Like, I don't want to see that dude no more." Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna say the same thing when Derrick Henry retires. They were like, "Man, I'm glad I ain't got to have no run defense, my run defense ready anymore for this dude." But same thing.
Agreed. But an admirable and an honorable career. Watt's next stop will be in Canton 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
In our next story, unfortunately, not all is well in Las Vegas. The bright lights have faded on what might be Derek Carr's last game with the Las Vegas Raiders. And basically, at this point, Carr very well may be on his way out. So realistically, RJ, is there anywhere realistically for Derek Carr to go and fit in?
Oh yeah, there's some teams. I just pray it isn't the Tennessee Titans because he's trash. I just pray it ain't there. No, but I mean he can most definitely go to Atlanta or Carolina Panthers. He can go to the Saints. You know what I'm saying? He go to one of them teams. I mean, that needs a quarterback that can probably make them a little bit relevant. I just, like I said, I just pray he's nowhere near the Tennessee Titans because I just can't. It's just gonna be hard for me to support a team that's invested in the Derek Carr. It's already hard now, but
no, I mean, from his stats, I mean, you look at it, and for most of his career, he's had 20-plus touchdown seasons. Mm-hmm. Of course, he has had his fair share of interceptions, but I wouldn't say it's on a level of what Eli Manning or Brett Favre would throw.
Yeah.
But, stats can definitely be misleading. But also, I mean, what would you contribute this season more to Derek Carr's letdown? Do you think it's just the fact that his skill set is diminished, or is it the fact that Josh McDaniels just can't find a system that's going to work well with him?
Well, one, he's an average quarterback, and he's he needs everything around him to be good. And so I think it's more so him being average and the Raiders are just being a dumpster fire that they are. And it makes him look even worse that, you know what I'm saying, that he's already an average. He can't bail him out of stuff. He's not that type of quarterback. He can't bail him out like of bad situations. And so it makes him look bad, even worse that he can't bail out a bad franchise.
So with all the teams being listed, and NFL.com put out about 11. So realistically, I think there's maybe about 3 teams in that list. To you, what team is the best fit for him that has the most talent and the best upside for his skill set?
I want to say the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like if he goes to that team where like he's already an average quarterback, but like because they're like a melting pot of average quarterbacks, with Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and then he'll go there and he will have all the talent. He'll have a number 1 defense. He'll have an offensive coordinator. We like Kyle Shanahan, who's gonna make him look good. I think he will feel really good with the San Francisco 49ers. But my thing is, do they have the money to even get somebody like him? So I know his contract is worth a lot. I say there, or maybe a Minnesota Vikings if they decide to move on from Kirk Cousins after this season. Yeah, I don't know the Vikings. I think the Vikings aren't going to do anything this year, but they they'll probably let go of Kirk Cousins if they don't win the Super Bowl with that roster, and maybe Derek Carr could go there.
And getting a couple comments real quick. Titan Fox says hire mediocre talent instead of top 10. Sounds like what the Titans do.
Yeah.
Fox already throwing salt in the game. Look at you go, Fox.
Yeah. It's been a lot of negativity here in Tennessee. I live in Nashville, so
it's understandable, though. Ryan Harris also bringing up a good point. Josh McDaniels is really doing the same thing that he did in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, with a good quarterback and elite wide receiver, and he still can't do anything. Also bringing up another good point. Two teams that would be very interesting.
Yeah, Commanders
the Commanders and the Carolina Panthers even.
Yeah, Carolina too. That I definitely like that Commanders fit because he seems like that's the type of quarterback they would like because he's not gonna necessarily lose you a game. He choked. You know what I'm saying? But he's not gonna necessarily if he has a good running game, some good wide receivers, and a good defense. I don't think he's gonna do enough to lose them games. He, like I said, he's on the same level playing field as a Ryan Tannehill or Jimmy Garoppolo. So.
Now, I don't see it happening because generally most teams try to avoid trading to conference rivals. But I would like to see him with the Jets. I think the Jets have a nice young core. I think the defense is stout enough.
Too. Yeah.
I think that'd be an interesting fit there.
Yeah, because what's the coach name? I forgot his name. But Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh. He most definitely needs a quarterback that's just gonna do. He just needs an average quarterback for that team because you look at that defense that they got. They got a top 5 defense on top of having a good receiving core. Like their receiving core is really good. They got Corey Davis. They got that one guy they got from the draft. They got this Garrett Wilson and they got Elijah Moore. On top of them having 2 good running backs and what's that rookie running back that they got? Can't think of his name right now. But they got a rookie running back, and they got the running back they got now, which is I want to say I don't know the Jets roster like that, but they got some good running backs.
That's all right. It slipped my mind as well.
Yeah, I was like, man, I can't remember that dude's name.
P Shark chiming in with another interesting team with the Saints, and realistically, depending on if they do get a new head coach. I think that'd be a good fit. The Saints still have some weapons. They have Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, and the Saints wouldn't be a bad pickup.
And Ryan Harris is Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. That's what it is.
So thank you, Ryan. It was definitely slipping our minds on there.
They also have James Robinson, too.
That's true.
Yeah, basically
it's a good rotation.
Right, he said Carr, Tannehill, Cousins, Dak, Jimmy G all in the same class of QB. That's 100% correct.
The only difference is right now Cousin is just playing lights out with the talent he has around him. And I think, for the guy that's basically utilized the talent around him, I would give Cousins the nod. But also the fact that dude's got paid. And he can thank Washington for those 2 years where they basically just put him on a franchise tag.
Yeah. And I look at it like this, though. It ain't hard to throw to Justin Jefferson. Man, he's a beast, Justin Jefferson is easily the best receiver in the league to me. You just can't guard that dude.
And Fox saying, I'm just happy the Titans took the road less traveled option. My pride doesn't want the Jaguars in the playoffs, but understands why it might be worth it.
It's gonna hurt, man. The next week is gonna hurt when we're probably gonna get swept. And it's like, I don't want to speak it into existence, but man, we're just too injured to beat that Jaguars team, man. I hate it.
The NFL is a league of parity, and there's definitely plenty to talk about that, and I know we'll definitely talk a little bit about it later because I got to stretch the show out. There's too much stuff to talk about, and I can't shoot everything all at once. But an interesting story also developing yesterday. It looks like Terrell Owens is getting the itch to come back and play football and has talked with the Dallas Cowboys. So maybe a reunion's on the table for the 49-wide-year-old receiver. So, RJ, what's your thoughts?
Man, he needs to sit down somewhere, man. It's a different game, bro. Like, you ain't got it no more, man. Like, what you trying to prove, man? Like, you 49 years old. You 49, man. But hang him up, man. You had your time, bro. You're a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You don't need to prove anything else. You want a Hall of Fame wide receiver and then win one Super Bowl ring. That shows you how good of a receiver you was.
Shark also bringing up Jags haven't swept us since '05, and I think I threw up a little bit in my mouth just thinking about that.
Yeah. It sucks, man, but I think it's going to happen, bro.
But I mean, I'm with you realistically. It's like Terrell Owens, I understand he was upset that he wasn't in a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. So, yeah, he took that serious, but what's this going to fix?
Yeah, it's not going to fit. I mean, I'll take him on the Titans. He better than what we got.
I mean, at this point, I'd take one of those trash cans that they throw the balls in for, like, contests. So, realistically, anything's better than Cody Hollister.
Yeah, he better than Corey Hollister. He better than Nick Westbrook Akina. He better than Robert Woods. Yeah, I take it. Oh, man.
Titans Fox says, make somebody a TikTok of him standing on the star, but insert the head coach tackle in him.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't take this too seriously. I think it's just T.O. being T.O. like we used to say back in the day. I think it's Jerry Jones kind of just jump on the bandwagon too, because Jerry Jones likes press, and that's just what he's about. So
yeah.
I wouldn't take it any more than what it is, just press. I mean, Tom Brady's old enough, and now we got T.O. coming back. I mean, AARP is going to have to start sponsoring these NFL games.
No, I don't understand. He's the second receiver I've seen come back and say, "Oh yeah, I could do it again, but just let me go out there." I'm like, man, no, you ain't got it no more, man. When you're gonna see that your mind thinks that you can still do that stuff, but once you go out there and you get hit, and, you get in the NFL game and they start hitting you, dude, you're gonna see, man, your body ain't gonna be able to take this for 17 weeks. It's just not gonna happen.
And realistically, his biggest issue was hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
It was always his hamstrings.
Like Julio Jones.
I mean, he's one of those guys that played physical. He practiced physical, and it just caught up to him. So, no amount of sitting in a hyperbaric chamber was going to fix that. So, T.O., I'm just telling you, you're good, man. Just sit this one out.
Yeah.
Somebody
need to be in his ear, man. Let him know, man, the game different than what you played. This ain't a different game than what you played, man. These guys are bigger, faster, stronger. That's all it is. They get bigger, faster, and stronger.
And Ryan bringing up the point, it's all good till you get hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when reality definitely sets in.
What was that? Then was it Vontae Davis? And didn't he retire after that in the middle of a game because he found out, man, my body just can't take this no more. You got Ryan Clark. He was like, man, I'm done. And when he was playing for the Redskins,
I mean, everybody's going to hang it up once in a while. Everybody's going to hang it up at some point. I mean, even Brady, regardless of however long he thinks he's going to play, dude's going to hang it up.
I don't know. Brady got a couple more years, man. He looking sorry. He looking like you forget he the GOAT.
I'm only allowed to say T.O. 3 times before you're out of timeouts for the half. Fox, I promise you, if T.O. would just pop up right here, I mean, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but, inside I'm screaming like a little girl because, big celebrity guest. So I'm moving on up in the world. Get into our next story. Of course, Sean Payton's one of the big news cycles going around the week, already starting to put together a class act coaching staff, which would include Vic Fangio potentially being his defensive coordinator. So the Denver Broncos, of course, are one of the first teams to get a lot of press, especially with the availability of their coaching position. So, RJ, realistically, are the Denver Broncos legit, or is it a no?
I think this is I think if they were to hire him, I feel like it would be a good pickup, but I don't know. I feel like it's just another flash in the pan, a big old Broncos country. Let's ride. Because, man, I don't know. I think they need to try a different route, man. They trying to get all these big name people, and they remind me of the Indianapolis Colts. They just trying to get a bunch of old people that ain't got it anymore.
And realistically, I think Sean Payton with the right team, he could have a resurgence like Andy Reid did with the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I just think it has to be the right situation and the right quarterback. Mm-hmm. Realistically, the Broncos are going to have to trade a pick to acquire his services because the New Orleans Saints still have the rights to his coaching career.
Oh, okay.
So if Sean Payton wants to go coach, somebody's going to have to give up something to get him. And the question is, are the Denver Broncos willing to give up their only first-round pick to get him?
I don't think it's worth it. I think they need to just go find the next offensive mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are always trying to go back to some old guy. You know, as long as you find the next person that's going to be great in this league, you know? Like we kind of did with Vrabel, you know, like no one knew about Vrabel and we hired him, and next thing you know, bam, Vrabel is one of the coach of the year. You know, it's time. You got to keep moving forward, man. You keep going backwards, you're gonna be behind everybody. And I feel like this is what that type of move is for me.
And Ryan Harris brings up a really great point. Vic Fangio was Denver's head coach, so I don't see that reunion happening at all. So that's basically dead if Sean Payton's trying to lock down his services. But RJ, realistically, where do you think Sean Payton would fit in best with whatever team you think would have an opening?
Let me see. Maybe, I hate to say it, but maybe the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I don't know. I hate to say that, but you know, that probably would be a good pickup for them. They need an offensive minded guy. Let me see who else is about to fire their head coach. Maybe I wish I had a list in front of me that tell me all the fire guys. Maybe what did you say? Broncos are burned turn. Rams, Colts, Browns. Yeah, I don't think any of those. The only one that doesn't have a coach right now is the Colts. I'll probably just go with Indianapolis, and I feel like Indianapolis there, or maybe a Houston, if they, because you know they're about to get Bryce Young. I just feel like somebody in the AFC South, and I really don't want to see Sean Payton 2 times a year. That's going to be tough. But maybe I honestly I think Houston's a better pick because of Bryce Young and John Mechie and Brandon Cooks if they still keep him. So
that's a tough deal though, because I just don't see the Saints making any kind of move with him unless they get a first-round pick for his services.
True.
So would Indy or Houston feel comfortable with making that move?
But Indy felt comfortable bringing Matt Ryan, to the Colts. They'd be happy with anything.
And Ryan brings up a good one too. I mean, Tennessee could be an option, and I talked about that at length yesterday.
You think they will fire Vrabel?
I'm not saying fire Vrabel, but trade Vrabel for the rights to Sean Payton. It's a win-win scenario. You send a coach that's established himself and can build a culture, send him somewhere with a fresh start.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind having an offensive mind. You know,
I mean, we wouldn't have to trade a first-round pick, but if they still wanted a pick, we could just move down to maybe a third-round pick and Vrabel, and I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I look at it like this. I think that the league is trending more and more to offensive-minded coaches, and that Vrabel's a defensive-minded coach, which I don't mind. I know defense wins championships. I understand that. But like nowadays, like you're going to need an offense week in and week out to even get to the playoffs. So it's hard to make it there off of just a defense alone. And even when you're in the playoffs, you're going to need a quarterback that's going to make plays down the stretch because, I mean, you're going to be in a close game. So,
I made a lot of people angry just by the fact that I said Vrabel wasn't going to win a Super Bowl with the Titans. And I said that because he's too stubborn.
He is stubborn.
And I think that's going to be his undoing.
Mm-hmm.
Guys have to find out the hard way that you have to make changes. The great coaches that have coached in the NFL or even in college for that matter were masters at changing the environment when something wasn't working.
Yeah, and Vrabel's not making any changes, man. He's still keeping Dennis Daly out there to get beat every play. Still got offense tied down and as an offensive coordinator. He's still running the ball in a passing league. I mean, he don't make change. He's stubborn, man. He's a great coach. Don't get me wrong, he's a great coach. He's very stubborn. I've learned that about him.
And I mean, that's the undoing with some coaches in this league. I mean, realistically, and I really can't compare him to another coach because I mean, every situation is different. But I see Mike Vrabel kind of like Dick Duran when he had his first head coaching job with the Chicago Bears. The guy came out and was killing it, and he never made any realistic changes, and that's what ended up him losing his job.
Mm-hmm.
So great coordinator, was a good coach, just didn't do enough. And I think ego takes a really big seat in that situation. If you're not going to make those kind of adjustments, you're not going to have a job in this league. And realistically, if he doesn't make those adjustments once this offseason hits, Amy's not going to sit for it again.
Yeah, I'm not. I hate because I really like Variable, you know what I'm saying? But I've been saying that too. I'm like, dude, like we're gonna have to do something different, man. We're not gonna be able to just do the same thing we've been doing, running the ball on people, running play action for so long until it gets figured out. You know, people are starting to figure it out.
It's creativity. Creativity is what helps score points. And that's why the Tennessee Titans were so successful when those years when they had Matt LaFleur and when they had Arthur Smith, when he was putting out a lot of just creative output on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's successful. He can have his philosophy on the offense, but realistically, you hire these guys to be creative.
Yeah, and see that's what the problem is with Vrabel. Like he doesn't want his offensive coordinator to get a head coaching job, and that's what he's dealt with since every time he gets a good offensive coordinator that's gonna like be creative, they get a head coaching job the next year, and he doesn't want that. He's tired. He wants continuity. It's hard for him to preach continuity when the head coach gets a head coaching job.
And I mean, that's just part of it. I mean, if you're good at your job, of course, somebody's going to see that and take your coach from you. But that just shows your philosophy works, but it's not going to work with every coach you hire. Mm-hmm. Every coach is different in the way that they run an offense. I mean, we went out and got Tim Kelly, and Tim Kelly, resurged Deshaun Watson's career after he came back from injury and made Davis Mills interesting. So why did we take all this effort to bring him in just to have him sit and have some fake bullshit job?
I still don't understand I don't understand why we just can't fire Ty down and promote him. I will never understand that, man. From this whole season, like I'm like, dude, y'all don't see how bad this offensive coordinator is. He calling screens at Jeff Swaim and calling screens on the 1st and 35. Like, man, what is this dude doing, bro? Throw that ball down the field, bro. Like, at least try to get the first down. I don't understand it, man.
And Shark brings up a good point. I mean, if it doesn't work out in Atlanta, Smith could come back to Tennessee. I mean, some coordinators have done that. Dick LeBeau, when he coached at Cincinnati, went back to Pittsburgh and spent most of his career there.
Yeah. And I was thinking maybe we can get a Josh McDaniels that as an offensive coordinator, because if he failed, I mean, if they fire him, that I feel like him as an offensive coordinator, he's not getting another head coaching job. No one's going to want to hire him. He failed twice, So my opinion, like I feel like that's my pick. Yeah, I feel like that's the perfect fit for Vrabel. He has a Patriot way. He's won Super Bowls. He knows how to coach in big games. He's just not a good head coach,
And that's fine. Some coaches are just better coordinators than head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just amazes me that Vrabel went through so much trouble to get a good offensive coordinator to the point where he's ready to bring in Ryan Day from Ohio State before he took the head coaching job.
Yeah.
Maybe so I want that passion back.
Yeah, maybe he can find somebody in college that's got a good offense, or maybe he can find somebody. He's gonna have to put in his work in this offseason, dude. Like this offense is not winning us no Super Bowl, dude. Like somebody gonna have to sit down and let him know that if he doesn't already know himself. Like this offense isn't winning us anything. It may win us the AFC South, and we might win a playoff game, but when it comes time to play Buffalo or Kansas City or even Cincinnati, we're gonna get beat. Man, it's as simple as that. It's the pure facts. We're not beating none of the top teams with this offense.
I mean, division championships are nice, but I mean, realistically, conference is where it's at. Super Bowl is where it's at. Yeah, and if that's not your ceiling, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, but I want a Super Bowl ring. I wanted the Titans to be an established franchise, so whenever they talk about us, they actually put respect on our freaking name instead of just laugh at us and this team ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't never seen them do anything. Like, no, man, we we gotta follow the blueprint of these Super Bowl winning franchises, and that's how we get there. And you know, they're Super Bowl winning franchises for a reason. They've been there, they've done that, they know what it takes to get there. And it's like we trying to do our own thing, and it's not working.
And I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I want us to be talked about when you hear Green Bay or Pittsburgh or New England, you know, those established franchises that won championships and have that prestige about them. You know, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And I want that badly for this franchise. But
because
I mean,
it has so much potential. Like this franchise has a lot of potential, and it's like they'll be 1 or 2 games away from being that franchise. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if we just get one Lombardi, like we can calm down as a fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just so high and uptight, and we want to be seen so bad because we never won a Lombardi before. And like once we finally get that Lombardi, you know, we can celebrate it. We can talk about it for the rest of our lives.
And that's fine. But I mean, I want more after that. I want to be a little greedy.
True. I agree. You got
the first one's the hardest one. The other ones, it's like, let's try and go out and get a few more.
Yeah, you see, I mean, like I said, like you said, like the first one's always a hard one. Look at Philadelphia. They won their first Super Bowl, and now they back to go get another one. You get what I'm saying? They already knew how to get back there. You know, they didn't take them long to get to even compete for another Super Bowl. But yeah, you're right. The first one's always the hardest. It's always the hardest. For you look at Seattle, you look at who else won? They just recently won their first Super Bowl.
The Saints.
Yeah, the Saints. You know what I'm saying? They were close even after they won their first Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens, they won a Super Bowl and went right on back and got another one. You know,
Tampa Bay.
They knew what it takes. And like once we finally get our first one, man, we get a taste of it. You know what I'm saying? We can win another one. I promise you.
I mean, one in my lifetime would be more than enough. But you know, if I'm lucky to see that, we'll just wait and see. P-Sharp bringing up a really good point. We have the tough team to play label, and you got to elevate. And that's what the game is. If you're not elevating your status as a team, if you're not trying to elevate and get yourself to the top tier, then you're just wasting your time, because every team wants to be talked about with the reverence of Green Bay or of the Dallas Cowboys or of the San Francisco 49ers or the Steelers, teams that have done it multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Steelers back in the 70s, like they were basically what we was. You know what I'm saying? They were laughed at. People didn't take the Pittsburgh Steelers seriously until they won their very first Super Bowl, and they kept winning them. You know what I'm saying? They once they found out how to get one, they kept on winning them, and they became this big market franchise. They fan base grew huge. You know what I'm saying? They got one of the biggest fan bases on the level of the Cowboys. You know, and we can be that. I 100% agree that we can be that, and it just takes one. We got to get one, and once we get to one, I feel like we can grow as a franchise. We already getting a nice brand new stadium. He said we are the Atlanta Hawks of the NFL. That is true though, but I think the Atlanta Hawks won a championship, haven't they?
If they have, they didn't do it in Atlanta. As far as I know.
I'm about to Google that, man.
That's worth a Google. But getting on to our last news story of the night. Of course, it's not Monday night, but we'll definitely talk this Monday night matchup because it's intriguing to me. And realistically, I like a good matchup. So the final Monday night game of the year will definitely be a potential playoff game with the Cincinnati Bengals playing against the Bills, who both teams right now are looking pretty dangerous at this point. So, RJ, realistically, who do you like in this matchup?
Give me the Cincinnati Bengals, man. That's been my pick to win their first Super Bowl ring, man. Cincinnati. And I just like them, man. They're a complete football team. I'm letting you know that now. They're complete. They have no flaws. None.
And I'll pat myself on the back because Ryan updated what I knew. The Hawks did win a championship, but they were in St. Louis. And I'm pretty sure that was like back in the day before the 3-point line. So
yeah, it was 1958. I looked it up, 1958.
Damn, even the Hawks got a championship before the Titans did.
Well, we wasn't even around. We wasn't even around. We came in, what, 1960?
Yeah, we weren't even around for that. So we were just on an afterthought. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one too. They've been the hot team this year, and they're realistically going to be a very big dark horse going in. So I like what they're doing. The Bengals at home, especially. I think the Bills are probably going to rest some of their guys as well, knowing that there's going to be a big playoff run going forward. And there's really no reason to get any of your key guys hurt at this point, which maybe the Bengals do the same thing. Otherwise, this whole conversation was pointless. But
yeah, it's going to be a good game, though. If the Bills play their players and the Bengals play their players, because I think this was for the number one seed in the AFC. So it's gonna be a monumental game. Everybody's gonna watch it, So going to be some good football being played. Good, perfect early warm up before the playoffs.
If you had to get one game in on Monday night to be the last game of the season for Monday night, I think they did it right.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and when we come back, we're going to have our evening debate tonight and why we think Derrick Henry should win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Don't go anywhere. I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday night edition of the show, getting you prepared for the Thursday night kickoff between the Dallas Cowboys and the Tennessee Titans. Got to give a big shout out to RJ of the Titans Coliseum Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the show. Very glad to get your hot takes in, and I got to let you give a shout out to the fans and let them know where to find you and all your great content at.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, find me on YouTube, find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, Titans Coliseum, man. It's a new, brand new podcast. We're doing, me and my boy Leonard Firestone, we're doing a darn thing. We got a bunch of special guests on there. Michael Bishop, we're going to get you on there one of these days, man. I'm gonna definitely keep you on the DMs, bro. We're gonna get you on there. Yeah, you go on there, man. You can have fun, man. With a lot of energy, a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It's a more like a young vibe in there, but like you'll like it, Mike. I promise. You'll like it. You'll like it.
You make me sound like the OG of the show.
Yeah, you'll like it, man. I promise.
I'm more than happy to join you, man. You just send me the invite and we'll talk football no matter where, what, I'm down. And of course, guys, thank you for watching the show tonight. And remember, we are part of the Titan Upload Network. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok at the Power 615. We're putting good content out every day for you, the fans, because you make it easy for us to get that content out for you. And also, big announcement, the Titan Upload Network is officially found its new home on Facebook. So if you're watching from our platform tonight, thank you for joining us on the show tonight. Very happy you're on here. Very happy for everybody joining the network. We're going to continue to be doing some big things in 2023, so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. So I promise you, football's every day for the Titan Upload Network. Titan Fox says, Power Hour, you were born to be an OG.
I feel like you've been looking like that your whole life, man.
I mean, if somebody's got to pull it off, I'll do it. I mean, gray in the hair, it's always a good look. But speaking of wisdom, we're going to jump in and give a little bit of our wisdom on tonight's evening debate. And of course, one of the prestigious awards in the NFL is the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and it has gone to multiple great players that have not only made their mark on the field, but also off the field. And one of our very own, of course, Derrick Henry has been nominated twice for this year to be the recipient of this award. And not only that, most people don't realize this, that the winner of the award also gets $250,000 given to their charity. So Derrick Henry has done so much for this community and just shown the type of humanitarian and just the kind of heart that he has that represents this award and why it represents Walter Payton well. So, RJ, just to give your synopsis on this, my apologies. What do you think makes Derrick Henry the perfect recipient for this award?
Man, like I said, I followed Derrick Henry since he's been a Tennessee Titan. Man, he's one of the greatest like Titans ever. Like when on and off the field, man, he's done a lot. But what I saw, I watched the video. He did something for like a disabled person. Like he's done a lot for not only for the Tennessee Titans, but for the community itself. You know, he's raised money. So just subscribe. Okay. Oh yeah, thanks for the follow, Peace Art. You know, like I said, Derrick Henry, man, he's an inspiration to me, bro. He's an inspiration to other young Titan fans, man. And like I said, if there's anybody that's deserving of that award, it's Derrick Henry, man. So, hey, thank y'all for this. Hey, make sure y'all subscribe, man. I appreciate that. You know, we love everybody. Love everybody that love the Titans. You know, and we also have Titan haters on there, so make sure y'all give them hell. So.
Yeah, without haters, you know you're not doing anything right.
Yeah,
so
true.
Haters make you grow, so you just take it from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I mean, since Derrick Henry came to Nashville, it's just obvious, just the humbleness about him, the very soft-spokenness of him. He's a very private person, but also when he does something, it just comes out of left field. And it's just, you know, it just touches your heart and it just makes you feel, you know, just amazingly humbled and just grateful that this amazing person is a part of our organization. And the fact that he's done so much and meant so much for this franchise, you know, it's very deserving that he not only receives this award this year, but I also feel it would be kind of just one of the brighter spots of this year. Let's just forget about football for a minute and just think for a second, just how much Derrick Henry has made an impact on the city of Nashville through his charitable works, through his good graces, and through just his inspiration of just being there for just the general public. And I feel that that's the very representation of what Walter Payton stood for and what this award stands for. And I can think of no better recipient, and I say this as humbly to any of the other 31 recipients, that is more deserving of this award than Derrick Henry.
100% agree with that, man. Like I said, he's a great human being. I mean, I don't know him personally. I've never really met him. I've never met him. But like for what I've seen on TV and what he has presented to me as a person, he's a very humble person. He's not cocky. He doesn't even talk trash. Like there'll be people there'll be defenders that literally tell him like to be on the top 100 talking about like, dude, don't even say anything. Man, he just keeps on trucking, you know. Derrick Henry, man, like I said, he's deserving of that award, man. He's my all-time favorite player. You know, you could say I'm being biased, but I think Derrick Henry most definitely deserves that award.
And I mean, you know, as I said, there's 31 other recipients that have done great works and deeds throughout their charities and through the public and throughout just their area and charities. And it's not to look down on what they've done. It's just an award that represents the very spirit of giving back to the community and showing, you know, love and faith and just good deeds for your fellow person out in the world. And that's the very representation of this award. And I can think of no one better than Derrick Henry than to give this award to. Mm-hmm. So we're pushing very hard for Derrick Henry to win this. We know, especially in a year where things just haven't been going our way as a fan base. To me, I would feel that this would be just an amazing bright spot. And it can make up for the playoffs, but sometimes some things are bigger than football. And to me, to have him win this award, it would be just a great representation, not only of his character for the city of Nashville, but it's just him as a general human being for the love and compassion and the great works of just selflessness that he has given throughout these years that he's been here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, special human being, special football player. Love it. You know what I'm saying? I hope he wins that award, man, because I definitely celebrate it. Mhm.
And Titan Fox saying Marshall Falk's his second player, and I think Marshall Falk was actually an award winner, I believe, back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, so my favorite running back outside of that didn't play for Tennessee Titans was LaDainian Tomlinson, and like he was. I don't know if he won the Walter Man of the Year award, but like man, dude,
It was a tie actually. It's funny you brought that up. It was
he
a
did.
tie
So he
that year.
was a part of. Okay.
So in 2006, Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson shared the award.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun fact for anybody that didn't know. And I mean, other great recipients also include Johnny Unitas actually received the award back when the award was actually initiated in 1969. So Johnny Unitas was actually the first person to win the award. And throughout the NFL, you've had great players like J.J. Watt, Eli Manning, Anquan Bolden, Jason Witten, Brian Waters, Kurt Warner, and just
Has the Tennessee Titan ever won it?
A Houston Oilers won it, and I will let you guess which one.
George Blanda.
A little more recent.
Okay. Earl
But
Campbell.
actually, George Blanda did win, but he was a member with the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, okay.
So that I'll give you bonus points for that.
Okay. Earl Campbell.
More recent.
Warren Moon.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, I'm about to say, I know. Like I'm gonna go through these little Oilers stars.
Yes, Warren Moon won the award. It was in 1989.
Okay. Yeah, man. I've always loved the story of Warren Moon, man. He opened up a lot of doors for, I'm African American, but he opened a lot of doors for African American quarterbacks. There wouldn't be a lot of them now if it wasn't for him. So, that's how I've always, whenever I was told the story of him, man, I always appreciated that for this franchise. So
now I'll give you a bonus question, and we'll see if you can get this. Now, a former Houston Oiler won this award, but he was with a different team at the time, and it was in 1988. Can you name the player?
Can I get a position?
It was a wide receiver.
Was it the is his name Ken? Is it Ken? I don't think of the name. So I don't really know too many other wide receivers. Oh, it was Billy White Shoes Johnson?
No.
Oh, okay. I probably know that's the only wide receiver I know from the Oilers.
It was Steve Largent.
Oh, wow. Do you mean the Hall of Famer from the Seattle?
Yes, the one that was traded away to Seattle.
Oh, so we drafted him and traded him to Seattle, bro?
We did. So this is not the first time we've let go of a talented wide receiver.
Wow. We let go of Steve Largent. Yo, it's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah, that's about heartbreaking.
Yeah, that man's one of the best wide receivers of all time. Like he's definitely like in the top 10.
So if Tennessee does one thing well, it's pretty much just getting rid of wide receivers. So.
Oh yeah, get rid of Hall of Famers.
But I mean, they do make up and keep a few. So I mean, they ended up giving him up, but they got Earl Campbell. So I guess that kind of evens it out.
Yeah, well, we can find a running back. We can't find no wide receivers, man. We can't keep one.
Oh, we put running backs in there like left and right, but wide receivers. Ooh, that's rough. Yeah, Titan Fox.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's something you don't know. It was just like the Washington. I found out today that the Champ Bailey played for the Washington Redskins. Like, it'd be like, wait a minute, he played for who?
Very briefly. And that was the same trade that Clinton Portis went there. So.
Oh, okay.
I loved Clinton Portis. I just loved his moxie.
He never got to the level that Champ Bailey was at. Champ Bailey was one of the best corners of all time. So,
but Clinton Portis, he never was the best player, but he had just great flair.
Mm.
He just had great personality. He was just one of those larger than life personalities that you wish his game matched. Mm-hmm. But Well, all right, guys, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and when we come back, deep breath. I know there's not going to be a lot of positive to talk about, but damn it, we'll find a few if we got to. Titans, Cowboys. Good Lord, it's Thursday night practice. Power Hours on the air, live streaming to you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of the Power Hour. We want to thank our guest, RJ, from the Titans COLOSSEUM Podcast for joining us tonight on the show. We know we're going to get you out to the game first, but of course, we got to talk about the game and break it down. Why are you watching Thursday Night Football? You need to be here listening to us talk about the game. They get paid for this. We're doing this out of labor of love and for free. What more do you want from us? Before we get into that, Titans Fox, of course, in shock. I know, Fox. I know. But Ryan Harris, for 1 year with the Oilers, and it was a 4th-round draft pick.
Oh, wow.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're going to do the same thing with Malik Willis. They're going to let him go. They just benched him. Like,
I don't know if I've got the strength for that tonight.
I mean, might as well. I mean, it happened. You know, they literally benched him. This is not a rest. They're not resting him for next week. They benched him.
I just don't want to see him go and be the next Steve Young somewhere. That's our luck.
That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Like,
all right, guys. I'm not going to lie. This whole game all day has just had me laughing just manically. Of course, it's Thursday night scrimmage on Prime Video tonight. We've got the matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the depleted Tennessee Titans. Unfortunately, there's a lot of questions going forward. Who was going to play? And the answers came in fast. So, RJ, with a majority of this roster benched, what is basically going to be the outcome of this game?
The Cowboys 455 to nothing. No, all right, for real. I'm gonna go. Give me 34-21 Cowboys. 34-21 Cowboys.
See, we're so mad we're getting into scores. I don't even know what to break down. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to say about Josh Dobbs starting. I mean, if this was 2015, I'd be elated.
You know it's bad for the Titans when I'm looking at the pregame show and they're literally showing nothing but Cowboys. And it's raining out there, so maybe they can't throw the ball today. We'll see.
I mean, Dobbs can run a little, so, and it's not like this probably isn't the worst offensive line he's had to like stand behind. So,
oh yeah, don't worry, man. Dennis Daly gonna make sure he gets sacked.
I mean,
Dennis Daly.
I swear, I would have bought a wall and stapled a jersey to it and got better results.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody in the chat that wants to chime in, definitely we'll hear about your scores. Titans scoring 21 with Tom Downing.
Garbage time points, baby. Garbage time.
Ryan, that's fair. That's fair.
Garbage time points. They're going to be about 34-14, and the Titans is going to get a late touchdown when that doesn't matter.
And I mean, one legitimate question I thought about during the week was, can Vrabel suit up? Does he have any eligible?
The way our linebacking core looking, he probably can.
I mean, I know he can catch some touchdowns, so he'd be a better tight end than what we have, other than it's not named Chig.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Traylon Burks gonna play, even though for some reason he don't. They got Nick Westbrook-Ikhine starting over him somehow. I mean, he can play.
Oh, there's just so much. There's just so much I could try to break down, but it was like impossible at this point. I feel like I'm breaking down a JV football game. I feel bad for anybody that played ninth grade football that the NFL overtook this because of this game.
Yeah.
You got overshadowed because of a game of backups, and I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that the Cowboys benching some players.
And, I mean, I guess you have to find some kind of fairness, I guess. Fox bringing up the point, our bench and sick bay combined would make a great playoff-worthy team.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, man. And, I mean, anybody watching the show, we're not trying to trash the team or be down. I mean, realistically, at this point, you kind of have to laugh from not crying about this because the week that the Titans have had, and it's hard to compare it to like the COVID weeks where you had guys like consistently just pop up on that list. That's the only thing I can compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like every day there's somebody new and it's something you just didn't expect. Like Derrick Henry just popping up on the list with a hip injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he hurt, man. I think it's just they just had him. They just needed a reason to sit him down. Like, anything hurt on you, Derrick? Oh, yeah, my hip ain't feeling good. Okay, you're not playing.
That or somebody slapped him in the hip with a towel, and they just called that one. I mean, we'll just...
At this point, man, we're ready for Week 18. Get ready, get our minds ready for Week 18 to see what they're gonna throw out there.
It seems that way, but we'll try and leave you with one positive thing. So I know it's a daunting task, RJ, but what is the one positive outlook of this game that could favor the Titans?
Maybe we can turn over Dak Prescott and make it a game. That's my only hope. We're gonna have to turn him over. We got to turn him over. We're gonna have to. It's raining. Get to hit that ball out of Zeke's hands. We're gonna have to turn him over. That's the only way we're gonna win this game is if we turn him over and we take care of the football. It's gonna come down to turnovers.
And I mean, great point there. I mean, the defense is definitely going to have to try and make some sort of effort, and with an offense that can't do a lot. But I think we already said, like in one of my chats with a lot of the Titan Upload Network members, and I said this on record, and I'll put this on record if this does happen. If Joshua Dobbs throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and wins this game, I will buy his jersey. So I have said it right here. I can't take it back.
You gotta hold up to that, man. You gotta hold up to that.
I am going to hold my end up on that if that happens.
Okay, so I'm about to say, man, you can't just throw that out there and not do it.
No, I'm serious. I will go out and I will buy his jersey if he wins this game, throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those are the stipulations.
I mean, I am a Volunteers fan, so I mean, he can throw for 300, you know. It can happen. I've seen it, you know, and we'll see.
I mean, if it was the 2016 Gators out there, yeah, sure, I'll go. I'll take that. And Fox, yes, you can hold me to that. I promise. If that's what happens, I will be a man of my word. Next broadcast or whenever shipping gets here. Because you know, I'm not paying next day. You know, I don't have like I don't have mega studio money.
Yeah. So
all right, so I guess I'll give my final score, and unfortunately, it's an overmatched Titans team looking to just get to Week 18. I don't even think the Cowboys are going to play their starters through the first half. So realistically, I'll go Cowboys 34, Titans 13.
Makes sense.
And, of course, as we all know, it's basically just looking ahead to next week. So to get to just a few minutes before we get to the game. Realistically, what are the Titans' chances against the Jaguars if they can get at least 75% of their roster ready?
Like it came down to the last game, man. It came down to those turnovers, man. We could have beat the Jaguars. I mean, you go back and look at that game. We did everything. It's not like we couldn't move the ball. It's not like that. I mean, our defense kind of fell apart towards the end. But I mean, those turnovers, man. We turned it over. The Tannehill fumble. He threw a pick. Derrick Henry fumbled all in the first half. And when you look at the scoreboard, it was only a 7-point game. Like, man, the Jaguars aren't that much better than us, you know? Like, they're a better football team. Don't get me wrong. They're a better football team. But if this is the Tennessee Titans, this is the Jaguars. Like, they're literally this much better. If we got to turn the ball over that many times for them to beat us, then we can beat them, dude. Just go out there. We play our game, and we got to turn them over. It's simply the same thing we go with this game. We got to turn them over.
And I agree with that. And the other point I will make is basically to finish this out, cut Derrick Henry loose. Mm-hmm. If he's got to run the rock 30-plus times, cut him loose.
Let him. I will go down swinging with Derrick Henry. If we're gonna go down, we're going down handing him the ball 40 times.
If that's what it takes.
40 read options.
I mean, if that's what it takes, give him the rock 40 times. At this point, it's like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
If that's the only way to win the division,
game of the season,
get that playoff seed,
anything got the Jaguars to try to ruin their season, bro. Like, ruin it. You know what I'm saying? Like, trick play, flea flickers, everything, man. The onside kicks, you know, fake punts, man. We could do anything. Like, it doesn't matter. We don't think we're gonna win this game. You know what I'm saying? So throw it all at them, man. It's the Jaguars.
I mean, they want a winner-take-all matchup. That's what they're going to get week 18. So we better come out swinging.
We ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't got nothing. This season's already a wash. Might as well throw every punch possible at them.
I mean, you're resting the whole damn roster for the game next week, so you better go out and start swinging. I want to see guys have their helmets grabbed and just thrown. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. I want to give a big shout out to RJ for joining us on the show from Titans Coliseum Podcast. Great show. Good job out there putting out great content. RJ, thank you so much for joining us on the Power Hour tonight, and I appreciate you for getting here before we get to this kickoff.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime, man. Anytime I got free time, man. I love talking about this team, man. Man, like I said, I born and raised Nashville, seen them come here. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the Oilers, but I definitely I've been watching the Titans since '99, and like I said, I know them. They're in my blood, man. I bleed two-tone blue. So,
and just want to make sure you give a shout out to the fans. Let them know where to find all your great content tonight.
Say it again. My bad, wasn't paying attention.
He's already watching the game.
Oh, yeah, my fault.
You're good, man. Just want to make sure you give a shout out to the fans and let them know where to find you and all your great content.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, YouTube, Titans Coliseum. You can follow my Twitter, which is at @DR_TheRJ Show_. So, like I said, you haven't already followed or subscribed, just like I said, go ahead and do that right now. You know, like I said, we got big things playing.
Check him out. He's doing some great work out there, and we're going to be getting you to kick off soon. And don't forget, we are part of Titan Size. Make sure to check us out on the Fansided Network at titansize.com. I'm always putting out articles every month, so make sure you check that out. And a lot of our great contributors doing great work. I've had a few of them on the show. Fantastic work, so make sure you check us out on Titan Size at the Fansided Network. And don't forget, as always, we are a part of the Titan Upload Network, and the Titan Upload Network now has its official new home on Facebook. So make sure you subscribe to the page today and follow all of us on all our social media platforms, from Ryan Harrison, the Jump Pass, Titans for Life, Titans Upload, Titan Rossi, Brian Johannes and his Draft Insight, and of course at the Power Hour. At the Power Hour 615 on all our social media platforms. Mm-hmm. Guys, thank you so much for watching the show tonight. We're going to get you out to Thursday Night Football. It's raining. Hope you're not out there, but hope you have a good time watching the game tonight. Hope we get a damn win. tired of this damn losing streak. So let's go to it. So thank you so much for your time, RJ. And of course, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the show, getting you out to the game. Once again, make sure that you follow us on all our social media platforms again. And once again, as always, we will see you next week. So from Michael Bishop, I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour. Take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
Thank you for watching this live presentation of the Titan Upload Network.